Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, a whole bunch of really cool knives on loan, a very special cold steel, and do you collect novelty knives? Now, I had a certain knife in mind when I was writing that earlier today, and then it comes to, as I'm looking through everything, it's almost like everything is a novelty knife in my collection in a way. But I was thinking about I came across this. This is maybe not even a novelty knife. This is a gas station knife. And through and through, police, I think I found this one, or I think someone I know found this and gave it to me. But I wonder about this knife and what it lived through before it came to my hands, because this was probably someone's knife. I mean, obviously, there's schmutz on it. So we're going to talk about that kind of thing and all sorts of, well, other knife related topics. So what's going on with you all out there? I'll tell you what's going on here. I'm really excited that I'm getting a chance to experience a whole bunch of new knives. Dion Page, good to see you here, Dion. Hello, King Knife Junkie. Jim and Junkies Worldwide, get the show on the road and talk blades. Yeah, let's get the show on the road and talk blades. Dion, what's on your mind as far as blades? Oh, nice and hot. Dion says, I'm fifth to the stab, slice, chopstick, stab, hack that button. Don't forget your turn. Right on. I like that, Dion. Well said. What's up, Dave? Dave and I had an awesome conversation last night. You can listen to it on Sunday. It was our best yet. I think he agrees. I know he agrees. We really talked some knives. It was like two guys hanging out talking knives. You will love it. This Old Sword says, evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Are the Riot Exo series novelty knives? Well, funny you should say that, because that is the reason I have this here. Very, very lucky to say that Doug, Five Door, Doug, I'm not going to say his last name, but he is a patron and he is also a fan of the show and a viewer. Sent me this. Five Door, you know Five Door from the comments. Five Door sent me this along with this. And yes, novelty knives indeed, but beautiful. This is a novelty knife, but very cool. Almost to me, could it be more useful than the other Exo, the original Exo? Now, I find no reason to close this one very quickly. I'm suspicious about this happening. I'll show you. I'm suspicious about this happening when I'm closing. So I have it open and I'm fighting. I vanquish my foe, finish him off. And then after I've shaken the blood, a couple of times I've done this, it's gone like this and actually it would have really damaged the hand. So until I get better at this, this is not mine. These are Five Doors, but still, until I have this mastered, I will be using this. But very fun, very cool knife, and yeah, a bit of a novelty. Chris Blade Ogre says, "Hello, all." Well, hello to you, sir. How you doing, man? Have a nice day. Good evening, Junkalos. He says, I really liked your video about the Gerber Strong Arm, a knife I've never had, but I've vacillated over getting, for years. James, good to see you here, James. Mr. Moore, hey, knife peoples. Well, hello right back at you. Got something cool here tonight, something new, something custom for my birthday I'm going to show off. And the reason I say that is when I think of Mr. Moore, I think of cool custom knives. Will B, how's it going, Will? Hey, Bob, Jim, and Junkies, he says, hello to you, sir. I just had a little crackle. So I'm in the midst of studio revamp. I have this cool thing I'm going to be using, a whole tree here, but I almost flew too close to the sun trying to set it up for this show, but I'm not going to do that. So I had to run back to this thing, which is fine. This arm has served me well, but I found something a little more, slick. And also, we'll keep everything out of the way and the same. Byron Kennedy, good to see you here, Byron. Howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Thursday Night Knives. Congrats to Kevin and Colin at Devo for their sellout drop of the Growler V2. I took my Growler out tonight in honor. I was checking out their page today, and they added audaciously added jimping all the way to the clip. I'm calling that a clip or a drop, but all the way to that peak there. So the whole Mamma Jamma is jimped, and that's because you can come all the way up here to cut. So why not have jimping all the way up there? Part of me loves that. Like I would say 85% of me. No. I'd say like 74% of me really likes that. And then the other 26% is kind of like, yeah, but this is so clean and beautiful. And so far, I haven't had the need to have jimping, though admittedly, I haven't used it hard, though this can be used hard. Pat D's Nuts, good to see you here, sir. Hello, Bob, Jim, and Knife Junkies. Missed out on the growler today. Bummer. Well, that's really awesome, though. I mean, that's a great problem for everyone. Yeah, it's a great problem for you because it builds anticipation. You probably don't need the growler right now. And since they've gone so quickly, and this is already V2, you know that there will be other drops. And that's good for them. That's good for the knife community. And it's good for you. You get that delayed satisfaction of getting one. Who knows where they'll jump for the next version. So don't consider it a loss. Consider it a permission to get a different knife. Ketmuk Nessart, good to see you here, sir. So Ketmuk has also loaned me some really cool knives. Well, why not just show one right now? I'll show this one right now. Before I even go to the pocket check, because I have this beautiful fixed blade out here. I have the sow catcher from what the hell are these guys called? Oh, Odin Wolf. How could I forget? I love this thing. I'm not going to show you the Ohio River Jacks right at the moment. I am going to show you the Rifleman, though. That's funny. Okay, let me put this down. Check this out. Ketmuk, thank you so much for the care package. He sent me a bunch of cool knives to check out. He heard me crying out into the wilderness. I haven't checked out an Ohio River Jack yet. And he's like, let me get you two. And they're very cool. But he also remembered that I wanted to check this out and dropped it in the box among some other cool stuff too. But this is the RMJ Rifleman. I fell in love with this knife just through looking at it when it came out. I love the modern drop sheath. You know, you have grommets here or Chicago screws. You can take this on and off. You could put a different sort of clip on there if you wanted to work something out like that. But kind of a cool modular modern leather sheath. And RMJ also owns Chattanooga Leather Works. This is not branded Chattanooga Leather Works, but let's just say RMJ has access to leather and leather working stuff. But look at this cool knife. I love this knife. Something very simple about it. It reminds me of the Roach Belly from Cold Steel, kind of a luxe version, if you will, of the Roach Belly. It also just looks like what it is, a rifleman knife. It looks like something from another era, but put together in these modern materials. And I really like this knife a lot. This is one that I don't know. This is one that I would like to get in my collection somehow. Maybe I look for it on the secondary. It's not one I'm rushing out to get, but there's something very, very appealing about this. This would also be cool with stag handles, no doubt. But I love this sort of pioneer frontier shape. So Ketmuk, thank you so much for sending me that this my way. I'm going to leave this out here as a little eye candy. I think it's really awesome. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. So that one right there, you might consider that a novelty knife. It's based on history. It's based on historical knives and that kind of thing. But also it's a very capable tool. Take it out in the woods. Fernando, good to have you here, sir. Fernando Salome, evening, Knife Junkies, he says. Evening to you, sir. Blade Ogre says, my main novelty knife is the carbon fiber handle and blade knife from Bastion. First and last carbon fiber bladed knife. Those are kind of cool. I have yet to check one out. I was supposed to get with Dirk a long time ago, Dirk Warning, to do a swap. And he's a great guy to swap with. He doesn't hold on to your knives for long. He takes superior care of them and makes awesome videos that make you blush. Oh, that's my knife he's talking about. So he's a great guy to do that with. It's just I dragged my feet. So I have to get back on it, send him my Puzon Predator Hunter and a couple of other cool fixed blades. And he's going to send me one of those cool carbon fiber bladed knives and a couple of other things. So, yeah, one and only carbon. That is a novelty. Yeah, no doubt. Have a Knife Day says, I'm waiting for my first case knife to arrive. The Roughneck Case XX rough black synthetic rust lock stainless. A lot of ruh sound in that. I like the rust lock a lot. That's a cool knife. I don't have one. I like Case. I find that I do find that Case, well, they have amazing, they do bone and covers really great, and they're very collectible, sure. But the ones that they do in CV steel, they only have a few lines that they make out of CV. They seem to take more care with those lines. Even the yellow Del Rin, they seem to be of a higher quality in terms of blades, in terms of cutting instruments, not just collectible things. Pedro Armstrong, howdy to you, sir. Good to have you, man. Robert Douglas, good to have you here, Robert. I didn't see you here last week. I hope all is well with you. I look after the Roberts and the Bobs. Beefer Barron, good to see you here, Beefer. I love it, he says. Yes. I was like, what are you talking about? But the night's not that far gone. Yes. And you know what? In reverse grip, wow, it feels really good. Let me show you something that this reminds me of, that I pulled out just to show. To me, there's a slight vibe. So like a little bit of the SMF or a little bit of the Hinderer spirit. And I would say quite a bit of the same spirit that gave birth to the Roach Belly by Cold Steel. Same sort of historical knife. I really dig it. All right. Stephen Michael Robert, good to see you here. Stephen Michael Robert. What's up, Bob? Steve, how you doing, man? What's up, Bob? The Knife Junkie and NFL Kickoff is my entertainment for tonight. Okay, so this is first of all, this is Steve, awesome guy. Spent a lot of time with him poolside, and this summer we'll be doing it a lot by the campfire with the neighbors and all. So I expect to see blades out there, carving feather sticks, and the like. But another thing I like is that people listen to the show or watch this show and do other stuff like NFL or sharpen their knives or strop their stuff or count their blades, that kind of thing. Byron says, the only novelty knife I own is a Rough Rider Tadpole, aka Grumpy Gherkin, aka Angry Watermelon. So Rough Rider Tadpole, what is that? Is that kind of like an elephant's toenail? Is that something like that? Five Door, how's it going, sir? So Five Door loaned me this. Five Door, check it out. I can do it. I love this thing, but there's no need to go fast on the way back in. Why go fast on the way back in? But I really dig the mechanism of this. Very, very cool. Thank you for this loaner. I really appreciate it. This, by the way, is definitely not the same weight as this. This definitely has more of a heft to it. And man, what a beautiful blade that is. Cool concept. Very, very interesting. Riyadh, knocking it out of the park. I have an XXL Desert Warrior because my kids won't let me part with it. Is that the big giant switchblade? Yeah, that's cool. I love the XXL Bokers. They're very cool. Robert Douglas says, can't stay, but have a great one, Bob. Robert, you have a great one too, sir. Have an awesome weekend. You know it's Thursday Night Knives. The weekend begins here. Cheeto Bandito changed his name back. How you doing, man? Good to have you here. What's up, people? He says. Just swilling some coffee. This old sword says, high on my novelty knife list is the Reich Golden Cicada. That is a class novelty knife. That is a beauty. If you guys don't know this knife, look up Reich Golden Cicada. It is a beautiful little piece of functional sculpture. You know, functional art or artful design, you decide, but it's not one or the other. Dion says, my birthday was Monday, and my son and I went to the gun show up in Michigan, where I got an old timer boot knife for $25. I think I can see it in my head. It's got a brass guard, double edge, and the wood, the sort of walnut handle, right? Um, it's killer. It took a lace of Spike Tonto for a bit. Oh, it took the place of the Spike Tonto for a bit. That's cool. I love those old boot knives. That was a big thing in the 80s and 70s. People had boots more or something. A good excuse to carry a double-edged dagger around with you. Ryan Vest, good to have you here, Ryan. Better late than never, he says. Not that late. It's only 17 minutes. I'm used to late, given the sort of anyway. I have a Joker, my Joker Avispa, for cooking dinner. Okay, so a lot of people have been talking about Jokers recently, I have noticed, which is interesting because you don't hear much about Spanish knives in general. And then I've been hearing about Joker. I recently got the Kudaman Bowie because I saw Gruggs had one and I really dug it. So Spanish knives, and they use that molybdenum steel. I'm only saying that once because I think I just said it correctly. Molybdenum. Got it. All right. Putting this away. Yeah, there it is right there. The Golden Cicada by Reich. Now, a cool thing about Reich, they do a lot of sculptural stuff, things that look like insects, things that look like vertebra and, that kind of thing. Biomechanical, kind of. It is what led Microtech to Reich to do the new production of the Bravo, of the SOCOM Bravo, because the SOCOM Bravo has always been a more sculptural version of the SOCOM. They were taking it out of house. Who better to do it if they're going to go to China than Reich? One might argue Riot, yes, no doubt, but Reich seems like a pretty good choice because they're pretty. They don't seem to produce as much, so maybe better for a big company like Microtech's output. And B, they do more of that sculptural stuff on the blades and handles and all that stuff. So why not? And it's a little more exclusive. Ket McNussart says, I love Joker knives. They make some fantastic outdoor fixed blades, especially for the price. Now, damn it, I was going to bring out the Kudaman Bowie. They make one just like the Kudaman that I have, except with a beautiful stag crown handle. Love to get that someday. Dion Page says, nope, it's a spear point with a dull swedge, and I think the scales are Del Rin. The hilt is nickel silver. Well, okay, so I was off by a mile. I love that. Okay. All right. I couldn't see it. I thought I could see it. But the one that I could see, you couldn't sharpen because it was a piece of crap. Yours looks awesome. So nicely done, Dion. Dion says, I posted a pic on your Facebook page. Okay. We'll have to check that out. Pardon me. Lots of coffee. So now I need some water. All right. All that said, right now, I think it's time for a pocket check. Okay, today I have my artisan cutlery Hyperion. Excuse me. It's getting dusty down here, I think. Artisan Hyperion from Dave. Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews, gave me this for my birthday. I've been carrying this a lot. It's really thin, light, and capable, but also big. That's a 4-inch blade, and that sort of modern gun stock handle broadens out, widens out nicely at the pommel, so you have superior control. Very nice clip. I like the way this molded titanium clip, not molded, pardon me, sculpted titanium pocket clip. I really like the way it looks, the angle. I always have been saying that it reminds me of a tremolo bar on an old guitar. It's a cool look. The whole knife itself has a retro futuristic look. It is designed by Daryl Castillon of D Rocket Designs, and he has a cool aesthetic. It's always kind of retro futuristic, semi what do you call it? Semi ethnic. He throws in some interesting design cues. Anyway, this one obviously with that Bowie blade, this and that gunstock handle grip, it has a very old west kind of feel, even though it's very modern with the titanium and the polished steel, or the satin steel, and the carbon fiber. So I dig this thing a lot. It's very, very sharp too. I mean, it's just a nice thin blade that gets obviously nice and thin. It's a full flat ground blade, or at least ground up to that fuller. And yes, you can use the fuller to open it. Awesome knife. Front right pocket today. Next up in my, well, it kind of goes back and forth depending on where my phone is, but excuse me, Jack Wolf Knives, laid back Jack. So this one, the new one with the large Barlow bolster there, and the triple fluted titanium, and the rosewood handle. This new version, or this new run of the laid back Jack, comes with a larger, much larger sharpening choil there. Very nice. You can keep using this thing pretty much indefinitely. It's S90V. You're not going to have to sharpen it too much, and you're not going to be using this knife for the kind of work that you're going to hard use S90V. So this edge will last you a long time, and you can keep going up. This one has the hand rub satin. He has one with the purple Delrin and the black blade with the black titanium, and one carbon fiber, and then two of them are titanium with faux bolsters carved in there. One of them jigged and one of them sort of plain Jane. So very, very nice knives. I dig it. And I might be preaching to the choir, but these are really, really excellent. But they are not the only excellent modern slip joints, and we're going to check out a couple of other ones that were sent to me by Ketmuk. Very much looking forward to showing those off. Ryan Vest, the Joker of Vispa is in 14C 28N. Well, a great outdoors steel. That was originally like on the Moras and the Scandi ground, Northern European outdoors knives. Nick EDC, good to see you here, Nick. Hey, junkies, Bob and Jim, he says, and he waves. A wave right back at you, man. Joseph S., good evening. Good evening to you, man. How you doing? What are you carrying? LP Knife Works, good to have you here. Person turquoise waving. Oh, yes. Okay, this is, yeah, that was an emoji. Mike Flamian, good to have you here, Mike. Randall 15, Medford Fat Daddy, and Spyderco Arc, and Victorinox Cadet on keys. Okay, so Cadet on keys in the Arc as per usual. Randall per usual, but you got the 15 on you. I'm not sure which one that is, honestly. I'm not sure what the 15 is, but I do love the fact that you carry your Randalls. That's awesome. Every day this guy's carrying a Randall. Hag 90, good to see you here, Hag. Hello, the Knife Junkie group. Hi, Bob and Jim, and he waves. Right back at you, man. Okay, in my front pocket, I did have, and sometimes in my back pocket, my fixed blade. Past week, 2 weeks, I've been carrying this all the time. This is my little broadhead, a custom Dirk Pinkerton. It is a defensive knife, a super versatile defensive knife. You've got this sort of grip, sort of forward thrusting grip. You can put it on your middle finger and have a punch dagger there. You can do it the way Dirk likes it best, which is on his pinky. My pinky is a little too thin for that to feel secure. I like it right here on my right hand here. I'm going to go right here on my right hand and just ready for action. There's no way that's coming out. I really like this knife, and I'm still thinking about the best way to fix the sheath in my pocket so I can just drop it in there, sight unseen, grab it, pull it out of my pocket. and still have the sheath stay in there. That beautiful G-Carta, GL Hansen and Son G-Carta there, and CPM Magna Cut. Oh yeah, Magna Cut. This is not the last fixed blade Magna Cut I got within the last 2 weeks, and I'll be showing you the other one in a minute here. And then last up today for emotional support, my ESK today was the large pyrite. I love this knife. I'm carrying it all the time. The large pyrite by CJRB. I loved the original, the 3 1/4 inch, I guess it was, that the company sent me. And I carried that a bit, but not exactly in my size range. Ended up giving it to a friend and then purchased this one. And man, that 4-inch blade is so perfect. This is a very close to perfect budget folder, I gotta say. I really love it. Close to. Why isn't it perfect? Well, the one thing that I didn't like when I first got it, and I've sort of forgotten about until right now, is the fact that in the center you can sort of get a little flex, but you're not going to deform, just by pinching it in the center. You're not going to deform it. It's springy, it's steel. You're not going to deform it unless you really, really, really try to crush it. But that's not going to happen with your hands. I don't care who you think you are. No. But I thought I could feel it at first. And I'm like, what? You're barely using the knife for, you're using the knife for pedestrian things, opening boxes. You're not squeezing so hard because you're carving wood all day. So I'm not even feeling it. So that little bit has gone away. But I must note there was a little bit of flex. So anyway, this is what I had on me today. Kind of an interesting and eclectic assortment. I got 1 clip point, 1 Wharncliffe, 1 dagger, and 1 drop point. You know me, I hate to double up on blade types. So let me know what you had in your pockets today. Any of you have this CJRB, this large one, and like it, the pyrite. This thing is so good. I can't wait till they come out with a Wharncliffe version of this, and I'll get the stainless steel scales. It'll have the nice clickety clack with that lock. With the button lock. 1 minute knife review. Good to see you here, sir. Hello, everybody, he says. Well, hello, 1 minute. Good to have you joining us. Byron Kennedy says, I'm not sure I'd call them novelty, but this is good. Yes, I would. But both Max Ace and Midgard's Messer, some out there designs. Carry was off-grid Necker, Cayman XL, nice, love that knife, and Enforcer XL RD. That's the Red Dawn edition with the nice swirly red and black G10. Those are all sweet knives. The Max Ace, they make some novelty knives for sure. That real big one that Jared had on his channel recently, excuse me. And then Midgard's Messer. Yeah, I'd say everything I've seen by them is a novelty, but beautifully made, awesome novelty. The first thing that came to mind that I don't have, but there are a couple that I would love to have, are Rich made knives. I had him on the show, Mr. Rich. What was his first name? I'm sorry, I'm spacing right now, but he was a really cool guy, a great artisan, and his knives are just way out there, sculptural, crazy. So there are a Rich made out there or two that I wouldn't mind having, but would never carry them. They would be on the wall somewhere. So yeah, that's definitely a novelty. Dion says the old timer boot knife on my belt, Spike Tonto in my boot, Recon 1. So that's a neck knife in your boot, a boot knife on your neck or on your belt, and the Recon 1 in my front right. Swiss Army knife, Evo grip in my left, and all ready for action. Yeah, you are, man. I don't know. Something about you having the Spike Tonto on your boot reminds me of a Taxi Driver. When he tapes the bayonet, or no, the M3 trench knife to his cowboy boot, and then practices by jumping on his bed. We all know what scene I'm talking about. Mark, good to see you here, Mark. Mark Salva. Greetings from Canandaigua. Canandaigua, New York. Thank you for the thank you. I appreciate that. Canandaigua. I think I would have gotten. I come from Cuyahoga County originally, so some of those Indian names. Alex, how's it going? Watching Cut Channels here. Alex, formerly of Alex's Knife Box. Sorry, I hope you don't mind my bringing that up. But also a connoisseur of watches. So check out his channel. Not only like cool high-end watches, but also interesting and obscure watches, and also mods and stuff. So very cool channel, especially seeing as I'm getting into watches. My daughter is under direct orders to, every time I look at it, do some theme song. So 2 nights ago, when was this now? I guess it was Monday. Monday night. We had a family viewing of The Predator, and it was so awesome. My girls loved it. They were a little freaked out by a little bit freaked out by some of the noises the Predator makes. I think mostly. And we were joking with my youngest daughter, who's like missing a bunch of teeth because she's that age right up here, that she looks like the Predator, with the gaping maw, and she thought that was pretty funny. So awesome movie, great knife movie, and great family fun. Glad to to have. Why did I even bring that up? Oh, I don't even remember. Sorry, but yeah, we watched The Terminator. It was awesome. I mean, Predator. We will not be watching The Terminator. That looks a little bit too much like life now, so I'm not going to expose them to that quite yet. Will B says, Hinderer XM24 Bowie full tie. Very nice. You're carrying 2 XM24s today? Really, Will? Wow. Jeez. That's awesome. That's like, I don't know, might be heading for the border. I'm taking my valuables with me. Got a couple of Rolexes up the sleeve too. No. Hinderer XM, Will, this is only admiration speaking. Hinderer XM24 Bowie full tie, XM24 Battlefield pickup Sponto, which I love those Battlefield pickup knives. They're so cool. The Wee Ziphius, which is also a little work of artful design. The Benchmade Rift, Kaiser Begleiter XL, the Axial Shift. I need to try out an Axial knife. The Vanderer Fenrir. That's funny to say together. Vanderer knives, Fenrir, Olight Baton 3, the Arkfeld UV, and the Wee Baculus pen. Have you seen Vanderer's new? They have a couple. He has a couple of really cool new models. Now, I'm not sure if they're models that are going to stay in the lineup, but he's done some that maybe one-offs recently that have been pretty cool. One of them looks kind of like a tactical fillet knife, which just warms the cockles of my heart. Blade Ogre says, carrying the ZT0308. I do love that knife. The GEC Bullet GD Barlow, aka Cowboy, the Sniper Bladeworks LPC, the Case Elephant Toe, the Cold Steel Wild West Bowie. You were just carrying that today? That's a big old knife to carry. I love it. The Buckshot Bone GD Barlow. Oh, that's a Buckshot Bone. Is that Rough Rider? Baron Sons Bierlow, Emerson Sheepdog Bowie, and the Sleazy Ogre. Okay, forgive me. Got to count. 1, 2, 3. Just go by the commas. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Wow, a lot of words. I thought it might be 10 or 11, but man, I do respect someone who walks around with a Cold Steel Wild West Bowie on him. Love it. Dave says today's carry. Oh man, Dave has got such a cool collection. Watch the show on Sunday. Check out some of his stuff. Microtech MSI injection molded. That was nice. He was showing that one off last night. Interesting analysis of the tip, by the way. Civivi ball tear. That is cool. That's a cool one. We featured that on the Wednesday supplemental a couple weeks back. Auxiliary Manufacturing Carl Jr. With faceted carbon fiber handle. And that's Michael Jarvis. He was on this show and also on the podcast not too long ago talking about his stuff. Beautiful work. Maxey Sandstorm 2, which is nuts. Talk about, that's a little bit sculptural. The Riot Exo M2 in Dagger Blade and in Almax. Oh my God, why is this so hard for me to read? And the Sofern, what? And the Sofern IF23 Light, 4,000 lumen. Holy mackerel. Not half stepping at all, but Sofern. I don't think I've ever heard of Sofern. But I'm not a torch guy or a flashlight guy. Nick EDC carrying the best tectonic. What a beautiful knife. Love that. With the revolutionary ball bearing in the lockback. Love that knife. Warncliffe K390 Delica. Oh, that sounds nice. K390 has patinas nicely, right? And the S35 Sea Snake fixed blade. Very nice. Love the Sea Snake. Love Mike Emler. Awesome dude. 5-Door says McNeese Mac 2 Tanto, Tonto, and the Civivi Odium. That's one of those names. Odium. You kind of have to put a little stink on it. Then the SMF Tonto arrived in my mailbox. Oh, nicely done, man. Nicely done. SMF Tonto. That is this in Tonto. And man, I got to say, I love Strider Tontos. I've never owned one, but I love the way they look. Bassmaster. Oh, wait. Bassmaster. Sorry. Emotional support. He laughs. Yeah. Bassmaster. Sometimes we're at work and we need to do this to get our mind moving. That's the emotional support factor. Actually, this Send Cut is my least favorite button lock because it hangs up a little bit and it doesn't give me the emotional support I seek. Whereas, say, this is a smooth, clean break every time if you're going to fidget with a button lock, which, according to Greg Medford, is not a manly thing to do. So I'll take it from him. LP Knifeworks says FFK, Ferrum Forge Knifeworks Micro Stinger on the keyring today. Ooh, that's nice. That's a classy keyring knife. Nicely done. Dion says, who wants the new Civivi with the Gladius Tonto blade? Dave has it. That is the one we just mentioned. The people, what's it called? I'm calling it the Glantius blade. Oh, the Gladius Tonto blade, the Glantius blade. It's the what the hell is it? We just mentioned it. Don't get old, people. 1 Minute Knife Review says today had the first gen Vero Axon. I love Vero knives, or Vero design, Vero engineering, with aftermarket carbon fiber scales and a Pena Caballero in ebony. Oh, I love ebony. I love wood on knives. I know that's not extremely popular. Not everyone loves it, but ebony especially. Oh, I have a number 66. No. I have a number 44 Great Eastern Cutlery with Gabon ebony on it, and it's just beautiful to look at, especially in the sun. Joseph S. says the Cold Steel Verdict clip point, the Mini Tac Bowie, the Stockman slip joint, and the Leatherman signal. So all the first three, you're saying the Stockman slip joint, that's the Cold Steel also, right? And that Verdict, do you like it? Tell me. Obviously you do. You were carrying it. It looks funny to me. It looks like it's funny in the hand, and I'm not 100% sold on all of the in-house designs from Cold Steel these days. That new one that they have that's being American produced, that's full tang, that's like an outdoor camping knife called the Patriot. It's not the Patriot. Partisan. It's not the Partisan. The Republic. I think it's the Republic. I think it's called that. But anyway, that's an S35E, and that's an American made. So that's a little bit different. But on the whole, I know that they're good knives, the Verdict. I know they are, but they just look funny. I don't know. Byron says Togata. Just skip sending that Sandstorm to that Mr. DeMarco guy directly onto my Indie, my good man. Wait. Togata. What about the Togata? Togata. I know the Togata. Just skip sending that sandstorm due to that DeMarco guy directly onto Indy, my good man. Directly onto Indy. Oh. Okay. All right. I see what you're doing. No, sir. No, sir. It is definitely making that pit stop right here. Mike Flamian. Randall 15 is a 5.5-inch model, 14, better known as the 15 Airman. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it has the grooved handle. It has the do I have the 16? Yeah. It's got a handle similar to this, and it's got the attack blade, which is the Bowie. It's more of a clip. It's a wider, and it has more of a scooped clip, doesn't it? And a handle kind of like this. That is a cool knife. Cheeto Bandito says, carrying a brass Zippo, Ty Chavez Redención Tanto. Someone tell me how to say Redención. Is it Redención or what? Tanto, Benchmade Hidden Canyon, GEC 77, the Leatherman Wave Plus, and the MicroStream flashlight. Oh, a MicroStream. Yeah, I like MicroStream. I like their pen stylus. The one that's about the size of a pen. I always have one of those in my bag. Bassmaster says, I prefer traditional knives because I do whittle a lot. They're also a little more reliable, but Civivi Flippy, Flippy. Yeah, Flippy's fun. Fidget is fun, but I hear you. I like slip joints. I love slip joints, and they are reliable, no doubt. But you will have some people saying, why would you go non-lock when you can lock? It's kind of like doors on houses. Like, we never lock the doors around. Yeah, but why wouldn't you? Like, even if you don't have to, why wouldn't you? But maybe that's because I lived in New York City for 13 years. But even before that, well, Philadelphia, definitely lock your doors there. But even before that, suburbs, I was always thinking about locking the doors and keeping things locked. I don't know. Maybe I'm afraid of people taking my stuff. But yeah, locks on knives. I've heard that argument before. Me, not so necessary, as long as a couple of things fall in place. Like, I do prefer a stiffer lock, and I also prefer a stiffer spring and a half stop. Here, let me show you these. These are pretty cool. These are the Ohio River Jacks, and they're on loan to me from Ketmuk Neshart, along with a number of other knives, like the Rifleman that I showed you before. But the real reason he sent this package was to let me get my hands on these and check these out, because I was just talking about them. This is the Ohio River Jack, and this is from Traditional Pocket Knives, designed by C. Reisner. I can't remember what's his first name. I know a lot of you guys out there know him personally, or have dealt with him. I have not, but I do love this design, and this M390 micarta in titanium production is gorgeous. I'm not sure who did it, who made this knife. Is it Kubi or someone? I don't know. It's really nicely done though, and it's got a really good walk and talk, great action, really nice snap shut. Has a good lock, not lock, but good tension on the spring. It's not a non-locking knife, obviously, but it's gonna stay open nicely. And listen to it. I like the sound of it too, especially when you open it. It's got a hollow. So very nice walk and talk. You know what? I have yet to cut anything with this. It feels very sharp. It is a saber grind on this. So it's not going to be as thin and slicey as say a Jack Wolf Knives knife, but I would use this for things more robust than a Jack Wolf Knives knife. Not that a Jack Wolf Knives knife couldn't handle something that this could necessarily, but these are more expensive and they're more dressed up, so I would use it for, like, I would feel very little compunction about using this in a home repair, working around the house all weekend kind of capacity. It is beautiful and it's made from really nice materials, but it also feels really tough, and that grind definitely inspires confidence in terms of horsing that blade through material that this might not, even though it could. And it's so much thinner and slicier, you wouldn't be horsing anything. But anyway, this I guess what I'm trying to get at, this feels like a real work knife. This could definitely, you're in a trade or something, this feels like something that you could take to work with you every day and handle with abandon. Here is the another one. This is numbered. Thank you for sending me this. Again, Ketmuk. So that's got a pretty stiff spring coming out. Again, M390. You've got a beautiful full flat ground, a spear point blade here. Look at that thing. That is beautiful. And really fills out the hand nicely. You do get the weird ergonomics of a secondary blade, but those of us who love slip joints and those of us who love multi-bladed slip joints, that's baked in. That's part of it. If you don't like it, then you go for a single bladed knife and dig the ergonomics there. I like them both. That said, I feel like this is very comfortable, but maybe over time, having this thin portion there would not be, the spine of the blade going into your finger might not be so great. So as mentioned, this one has two blades. First of all, that one, the spear point there, and then it has this Wharncliffe, also full flat ground, really nice Wharncliffe blade there. This I called a Wharncliffe, I meant sheep's foot. You can see the difference there. But I like this sheep's foot. I like the Wharncliffe blade better. I like the point. You got a nice long pull there. You need the pulls on these to open them. I don't know. Wait, can I pinch this one? This one you can definitely pinch open, no problem. This is harder, obviously, because it's got another blade obscuring whichever one you're trying to pinch open. So yeah, you got to kind of dig your finger in there. Beautiful micarta, very nicely hafted on the back, very smooth. Let's take a look at the half stop on this. Totally flat spring on the half stop. Very nice. And then seamless here. Or no, it's not seamless, but it feels like it's one piece. You take a look at it, you can see it is not seamless. Distracted there for a second. I think I just heard the dog scratching at the door. All right. Yeah, so I feel like you could use this one and really, really work with it. There's a channel I like, I watch a little bit of, called Duty's Daggers. He seems like a cool guy, and he's been into slip joints lately and has been doing cut tests and testing stuff. And I know he really likes this Ohio River Jack, and I know he's done some testing. And I think he did one comparing that with the QSP. What is that called? QSP. It is it's like a sheep's foot or a cleaver style slip joint. Can't remember what that's called now. Oh, I love the Predators. Alex, the Predators, just about one of the greatest things of all time. And Alex, you'll appreciate this. I got the watch. I got the Arnie watch for my birthday. I've always loved this ever since Predator, actually ever since Commando, where they used that watch, the original SNJ 025, and tweaked it because it wasn't quite cinematic enough. They made the digital thing larger. Anyway, ever since that movie and Alyssa Milano, I've wanted this watch. Alyssa Milano fell out of favor for me, but the watch never did, and my wife got it for me. But speaking of Predator, here's the Puzon Predator Hunter. Bowie. Love this thing. So I figured I should pull this out. The noise she makes when you look at your Arnie watch. Exactly. So my youngest daughter is trained to do some sort of theme song. Usually it's the Conan theme song because that's the one that's easiest to, dun, 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 dun. Way easier for a child to do than the sort of steel drums of the Commando theme, which is, I love that theme. Great theme song. Ryan says, big fan of budget watches here. I collect Casio G-Shocks as well as knives. Very cool. I love, I have a Casio that my dad got me once that has, it's in the G-Shock family, but I don't think it says G-Shock on it, but it's one of those Casios that you can really throw off a mountain, and it has like barometer and temperature and a compass on it. I like the compass. I don't use the barometer feature. I've used the temperature before, but it's also what do you call it? Solar. And I think that's so cool. Casio makes really cool watches. I'm very interested in getting a Duro, one of their $60 dive style watches. James Moore says, pocket check, flip slip folder with Damasteel blade and blue carbo tie scales by Dmitry Sinkovich. Dude, yes, that exclamation point is definitely well placed. I love Dmitry Sinkovich designs. Okay, and he says, and a lumen top copper FWAA flashlight. Okay, so is this a flashlight, James? Or is this a torch? A lumen top copper. Copper sounds like it's a little bit nicer, or a little bit more custom. Is it patinaing nicely for you? I'm curious. What is that sound I'm hearing? Hang on. Okay. Just got to make sure I don't have to do a security round. Five Door says, Civivi Baltair is the Tonto you were referencing, I think. Yes, it was. Yes, I said it, and then the word went away from the screen, and then I had to recall it, using my short-term memory, and yeah, that's where it all fell apart. Baltair, Bob, means strong fighter in Scottish. Oh, cool. Love it. Weird, though. Weird, because that blade does not strike me as Scottish in any way. I think of the broadswords, whether they're basket hilted or, the great broadswords, and I don't know. Interesting. Togata is my code name from Byron. Oh, I like it. What does that mean, Togata? Some sort of badass, I know. Because what's his name? Cones called one of his knives Togata, didn't he? 1 Minute Knife Review says Rendencion or Shun. Rendencion. I'm just not going to say it, and I'm never buying the knife. So I never have to say, look at this. Rendencion or Rendencion. Because Sion is also shun, right? Legion. Loyal Group says, evening, gents. Hey, Loyal Group, good to have you here. Everyone can relax. I'm here. Okay, I'm not sure if the person out there is out there, but a couple of weeks ago, I randomly gave away a knife and no one sent me their address. And that happens oddly more often than you might think. Someone is here and they put #knife and they win, and then they never follow up. Anyway, Mattisfaction, good to see you here, Mattisfaction. Hello, everyone, he says. Hello to you, sir. And I got to say, your icon there is so cool, and you can see it a mile away. It's very iconographic. Professor EDC, good to have you here, man. Bob, Jim, good evening, fine blade people. Hope everyone is doing well. We're doing well. Hope you're doing well south of the border. Good, sir. Sorry for being late. New job, new schedule, new effort. Not so new, man. Oh, yeah, but wisdom. So what's going on? We're talking about novelty blades, and I know you might know a thing about that, but also I hope your job is I hope you're liking your new job, and congratulations on getting one. Boss Bavak, good to have you here, sir. Hey, Bob, having a Davidoff and a scotch with my 80/20 textured tie by my side, listening to you. That sounds like smoky, good time, whether it's the smoke in one hand or the smoke in the other. Cheers to you, man. I only have coffee on this eve, but it's actually a pretty smoky brew also. Nice and dark. Good to have you, man. Hinderer Collector 41. What's up, Brant? Good having you with us. Hello, Bob and Jim, he says. Well, hello to you, my man. He was just showing off his full collection on Instagram of Hinderers this past week. Pretty big picture. You had to be pretty far away to get them all. Bosbavak says, recently discovered AAPK, which, all about pocket knives. See, all I have to do is continue reading, like my wife says. Great site that sells GEC slip joints right out of collectors' collections. Yeah, and other stuff, and great articles there. I haven't been there in a while. But yeah, if anyone here is interested in slip joints and other pocket knives, but definitely slip joints, you can read about history there. You can peruse and buy knives from people's collections, like he said. It's a very interesting website. Oh yes, it is. It's the Casio Pro Trek. Ryan says, is it maybe the Casio Pro Trek? Yes, and it's huge, and I love that watch. There was a period of time where I didn't wear it. I'd say maybe a year I didn't wear it, and I kind of forgot about it. And then I unearthed it, and it took a while to charge up. And when it did, it just found the time, and it was all good. That's a cool watch a lot. It's a cool watch a lot. It's a cool watch that I like a lot. James says the Copper FWAA has a great colorful, love that, colorful patina. Unfortunately, they're not making them anymore. Unfortunately, this is exclusive. Yeah, that does kind of suck, especially, those of us know what it's like to have a knife discontinued or have a company go away. You just kind of imagine they're always going to be there. But glad you got that one. Hinderer Collector says, my EDC Hinderer Eclipse Warney. That's a beauty. I think there was a picture of you today or yesterday holding that one up. Rendencion. Thank you. Let me break this down for you, dumbass. Thank you. Okay, wait. Don't take that down yet. Please, Jim, I'm going to write it down, and it will sink in. Okay, Rendencion. There we go. Rendencion. Got it. All right. It's a whole new world now, guys. Way more confident. Rendencion. I'm going to get one now. Now I have to, now that I can pronounce it. Gus Beck. Evening, Knife Junkies. Evening to you, Gus. Good to have you here. In the pocket today was the Chris Reeve Knives Large Plane in Cosi and the new Berg Blades Sweeney, which is awesome. The Epic Spyderco Military 2. I feel burned by Blade HQ, by Spyderco, by all of them. You all can go to hell. No, I'm just kidding. But I never heard anything from Blade HQ about the release of the knife I put $5 down on. Yes, I know it's $5, but it's the whole. So don't ever do that. If you're interested in a knife from Blade HQ, don't pay them $5 to put you on a list, because they might not call you. They might just pocket the money. And I think I'm done with Blade HQ. I just can't quit you. No, I really am. I don't buy that much from them anyway. And I like them a lot, but sometimes I'm like, really? You guys should be shipping quicker. You should be stocking some of this stuff before anyone else. I don't know if that's ridiculous for me to assume, but that whole debacle with the military too, I'm like disgusted. I'm disgusted, I tell you. 1 Minute Knife Review says #knife. Oh yeah. not this week, but sometimes we'll just do a random knife giveaway, and all you got to do to win the knife is put hashtag knife in the comments, and we pick someone from a random number generator. This has happened numerous times where we've done that, given away a cool knife, and then no one claims it, and we have to try and give it away again, or give it to the poor. Kevin Moore says, good evening, junkies. Well, Kevin, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us, sir. How's everyone sharp and pointies? Well, look at this thing. This thing, I just can't stop playing with this. Super cool. What are we calling this again? It's like a bally song. It's like a bally rambit. So cool. But I also this is on loan to me from Five Door, and it's also got the sharp version. And it's funny how, no need to be fast with it closing, but opening it you can be, and it's a lot of fun, and it looks very cool, and it sounds great, and it's made well because it's from Riyadh. What a cool design. I should have gotten that. They were not prohibitively expensive, and I feel like they were on the Blade HQ website for a couple of days before they were all snagged up. I should have jumped on it, but maybe I just wasn't confident that I would ever receive it. Joseph S. says, really like the Cold Steel Verdict. I have the Tonto and the clip point. It's lightweight, feels good in the hand, and the GFN handles do make it look a bit cheap. But there are G10 versions. Okay. To me, it's not the GFN thing. I think something about the Atlas lock with the way it leaves a divot in the center of the handle, on the spine of the handle. I'm sure ergonomically it's totally fine. I've never heard anyone complain about it. I just don't like the way it looks. To me, it throws the balance off somehow. And I'll stop right there. Gus Beck says, my favorite novelty blade is currently the American blade. The American Buffalo Knife and Tool Cattleman's Cutlery Chuck Wagon. That sounds delicious. Wood scales, 2-blade slippy. Main blade is a clip point. Secondary is a fork. I love that. And the handles slide apart. Big fan. It's like a hobo knife. I have one around here somewhere that someone left, I don't know, in a dorm room or something years ago. But yeah, it's got two sides and a center. And the center has the knife, and the two sides unlock and slip off, and they fold out, and you got a knife, a spoon, and a fork. So when you hobo riding the rails, you can eat your canned sardines or whatever. Guns and Loaded, good to have you here, Guns and Loaded. Such a great channel. Thanks for your work. Oh my God, thank you for your kind words, man. I appreciate it greatly. And it's my pleasure, and it's my wife and daughter's relief, because they're not hearing me talk for 2 hours straight about knives every Thursday night. I save it up for a couple times a week, and I let it go so that they don't have to hear it. So I am glad you enjoy this, sir. Thanks for joining. Ryan Vest says, Casio is God tier. Who else could pull off a $10 F91W and a 40,000 MR or 4,000 MRG, $4,000 MRG? Okay, you're gonna have to tell me, is MRG the model number? I'm curious. A and B. I got the $20 knife from $20 watch from Casio that looks like a Luminox, a Navy SEAL watch. Great little watch. And I don't know, I felt moved to give it to my daughter. I gave it to my daughter, I think, because it was $20, and I felt like, I just got this watch. I don't need to spend 20. And I knew she'd like it. It's cool. And she does. But that watch is awesome, and it's only $20, man. And you could bang on that watch. It has a nice crystal. It's a mineral crystal, but it looks nice. Doesn't look cheap at all. The knife itself really does look like a Luminox. My wife's uncle has one, and I thought it was a Luminox for like more than a year, and then I really looked at it once. was like, oh, and it's not a counterfeit. It's just kind of got the vibe. Professor EDC says, just a reminder, guys, to hit that like button. That's right. Hit the like button. It is the least we can do for such great content over and over and over. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know what? Knife Center is great. I couldn't agree with you more, Guns and Loaded. My very first online knife purchase and my second online purchase ever was on Knife Center. So near and dear to my heart, plus great people over there. And they're in Virginia, my state. However, so is Blade HQ. They're in Virginia too now. Now, like, I think they moved several years ago. Dion Page says, I'm as poor can give him. Give them to me. All right. Dion, send me your address. Bose Bavak says, just purchased an awesome gatekeeper from Greg Lightfoot. Very nice. In black tie Mascus and Nichols Damacor. How do people think of founding Father Greg these days? 30 years of his legacy. I think very highly of Greg. I have my own, one of two custom folders is a Lightfoot Element that he made special for me. Basically, he made me the kind of knife he used to make, quote unquote tactical, because he now makes things in Timascus and Nichols Damacor, which I could not afford. But he's been on the show a couple of times, and he was on I think he was on the first town hall as well. So he's been on this show a bit, though not in a couple of years. What an awesome dude. Very interesting. Lives up there in Canada, has a huge ranch. He's really into motocross and building motorcycles and these exquisite knives, man. He's an interesting dude. So I'd love to see your knife. I'd love to see that. I'm not familiar with that model. I would get mine, but it's just, I'm not plastic, man. It's over there. It's only 5 feet from my hand, but whatever. Next time. 1 minute knife review said, 1 minute knife review says, or I could send you my address, and when there is a non-claimed knife, I can take it off your hands for you. Save you all that stress. And then he says, just kidding. I noticed that he said just kidding in lowercase letters. So I'm not sure if he really means just kidding. Yeah, you know what? We'll do something. We'll do something. Because first of all, I have some really awesome things here that Dave has sent me, and then a couple of my own coming out of my own collection, and I can't just sit on them forever, but I can't be giving away knives all the time. That'll be the only reason people come here, is to get their hands on a free knife. You're like, that's accurate. Ryan Vest says, I gotta say, my S45 EN Para 3 has blown me away. I don't have many high-end steels, and this thing just keeps going. Ryan, I'm interested in your thoughts on S45 because excuse me, I have tons of S35, as most of us do. And then I only ever had one S45 VN blade, and that was the Ritter Hogue fixed blade. I ended up giving that to Shane as a thank you when he gave me this sweet Spyderco. So I never really got, I dabbled a little bit with that knife, but I never really got to know the steel. So you just find that the edge retention is super great. Have you had to sharpen it? What's that like? Gus says not to rub it in. Oh, okay. Not to rub it in, but I'm going to rub it in. All right, let's see. Not to rub it in, but I pre-ordered the Millie 2 with Knife Center for free, and I got it on time. Well, you know what? Thank you. This was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I think I know where my bread is buttered, or whose bread I'm going to butter, or where I'm going to pre-order. The one thing I don't like about Knife Center is that they're like usually ships, when they don't have it, is like usually ships in 2 to 3 days. And you're like, that's not true. I know that knife is not shipping in 2 to 3 days, I just had that experience over there, and I can't remember what it was. What was I looking for over there? But all that said, yeah, Knife Center all day long. LP Knife Works says you can still get the XOK from Cranes. They have the green black one. Cranes Cutlery. All right, let's see. Who knows? Maybe I'll get that instead of the military too. Oh, Bob, let it go. Well, no, we don't do that in my family. Joseph S. says, the verdict has the triad lock, you smartass. He says, the Engage uses the Atlas lock. Okay. All right. Okay, so it is the Engage that I think looks awkward, especially in Tonto. But thank you. And it's good to know that they're not phasing the triad out. They're just adding locks too. And that's cool. I guess the Atlas is pretty darn user friendly and extremely strong. Pat D's Nuts says Knife Center did something similar to me for the Malibu in the textured handle. Sales lady super rude when I called. Bye bye. Probably purchased $2,000 or $3,000. Oh, that I was imitating her, but you're saying bye bye. Probably purchased 2,000 to 3,000 in knives elsewhere since that happened. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, man. All it takes is some smartass on the other side of the phone to ruin an experience. You know, I don't know. There's certain places I don't go anymore, and it's out of principle. Even though it'd be much easier to go there because you can get every fucking thing you want there. Excuse my French, but you know. Ryan Vest says MRG is Casio's ultra high end line. They use luxury materials and finishing. Do they do, Ryan? Do they do like automatic movements in that line? Do they do that kind of mechanical stuff? Oh, well, Professor Redencion. Okay, so I have a Redencion and a Redencion. Professor EDC is, I believe him also. Let me put it that way. Pretty authentic. Redencion. Okay. All right. Redencion. Got it. Okay. Thank you. I'm still not going to say it because now I'm not sure. QSP makes the Ohio River Jacks. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Right. Okay. I was talking about Duty's daggers and how he was comparing. Yes. And he did mention that. And that was part of why he was comparing them. Duh. Yeah. It's because this one is more expensive than the other one. He was basically like, if you don't have access to this or they're sold out, which they frequently are, or whatever, does the other QSP slip joint called the pangolin or something? No, not the penguin, but does that one live up to this? I think was basically the gist. Bosbavox says, actually, Bob, I did watch your video on your Greg Lightfoot custom and it motivated me. Yours is a classic beauty. Oh, cool. I'm glad because he is a legend of the tactical folding knife world. And I'm glad that people are still interested in his work. I mean, Edwin, Callow PR, he got one from him. I remember a few years back, totally wicked. He got an Alien, which has this crazy shaped blade. Look at, I'm playing with this off camera. Look at what I found. An old straight razor I forgot I had. Five Door says, Cranes is where the XOK you have now comes from. Oh, cool. Awesome. Cool shop. They say possession is 9/10 of the law, sir. No, I'm just kidding. Though I do take a little bit longer with loaned knives than I say I usually say. Give me a week and a half to 2 weeks. Usually it's like 3 weeks, admittedly. And some of you out there might be saying, yeah, or maybe it's a little bit more than that because I have kept large boxes of knives a little bit longer because I'd like to do reviews on all of them. You know how that is. Okay, let me show you my birthday knife. My gosh, I've just been waxing poetic, haven't I? All right, listen to this. Has a nice sound when it snaps shut. These are really nicely done knives. these Ohio River Jacks. Okay, so for my birthday, I knew I wanted to get something from Aaron Bieber from AB Knives. He was on the show a month and a half ago or so. I met him at Blade Show. I've been following his work on Instagram, met him at Blade Show, and coincidentally, found out that he and I went to the same school. It's the same art school, and it was really cool to know. And we did not go at the same time, but kind of similar times, and we're similar age. And I could really see, I don't know his work from when he was a fine artist at art school, but I could see art in his work, and it was cool to find out that coincidental fact. Anyway, I ordered his signature, one of his 2 signature models. He's got a number of models, but he makes 2 the most often, and I would say that this is probably the one he makes the most. This is the 302 from AB Knives, Aaron Bieber knives. First, I'll show it to you in the Kydex. Very nice Kydex sheath with the carbon fiber look. He put this strap on there. I will be shortening it a little bit, and I will keep it on this strap because it carries very nicely horizontally and pretty flat under the shirt. You can already see that gorgeous Tsukamaki wrap. I'm just going to show it like this in the sheath so I don't cut myself, but this is one of the things I love about this Japanese style wrap is when you look at it from the top or the bottom, you see the staggered peaks where your palm fat fits in and your fingers wrap around and rest between. And you see immediately why samurai wrapped their handles like this, because you get tremendous grip. And then the modern day, of course, you get it all soaked in epoxy so it will never move. The white material underneath the wrap is ray skin from Stingray. It's kind of hard to see in this light. Let me bring the light down a little bit. See if you can see some of the texture there. All right, let me stop the camera from moving. There we go. All right, yeah, you can kind of see the ray skin in there. It's white. It's kind of blowing out here. Let me turn this light back up and show you the blade. There it is. It is a gorgeous low point clip point blade with a beautiful hollow swedge, deep, thin hollow swedge there. Nice machine satin, nearly fully flat ground, wickedly sharp. Nice finger choil, great ergonomics on this knife. I mean, it's to quote Jared, he says hand melting. To me, it melts in my hand. I don't want my hand melting, but I totally get, obviously, what he's saying. And I like his expression. It just melts in the hand. And then look at this. Look at how low that point is. It's sort of a clip point, but also sort of a Warncliffe. So the best of both worlds for this with this knife. Just a design that just grabbed me and never let me go, and so I was following him, watching him make his knives online, and then saw him setting up with John Gray. They're both from Pennsylvania, and he's been friends with John Gray for a while. John Gray's a legendary knife maker, guy I'd like to get on the show, who's been making such cool stuff. Anyway, he's been helping Aaron here and there and just, being a friend and helping him with some knife making stuff. But man, this thing, look at that. And I love the AB. I love his maker's mark engraved deeply in the blade there. It's like stamped. I think it's engraved. It's engraved. Just gorgeous. So, yep, this is my birthday knife. I haven't been buying a lot of knives lately, and one of the reasons is because I saved for this instead of just kind of like, well, I mean, I have money, I should just spend it on this. It's been like deliberate. No, I'm putting this aside for this one particular thing, and that's, I got to be honest, I that's not something I've done so much of in my mature life, because I used to have to do that. Now it's sort of like I want to do that. because it's special, a little bit more special. Anyway, James Moore says, I approve of that blade. Plenty of belly. Yeah. This is the kind of fixed blade I could see you with. Now, maybe a different handle. He does do different handles. I'm not sure where you stand on this. I know where you stand on natural materials, and I know you love carbon fiber. So something like this with a fat carbon or something cool, you would love this. Oh, yeah. This would be a nice one to have a little leather sheath with, no doubt. Brandon G, good to see you here, Brandon. That's a sweet looking knife, he says. Well, go check out Aaron Bieber, AB Knives, Aaron Bieber, Aaron Bieber Knives on Instagram. Bieber like the singer, Aaron like the name, Aaron. Nomadic Adventures, good to see you here, Nomadic. Fools and their money part ways quickly. That's my dad's line. A fool and his money are born to part, Bob. But why do you mention that? Do you think I'm a fool for buying that, or any of these? Or I'm sure that's not your meaning. That's not your meaning. I think what you're saying is save your money and buy things deliberately. And I'm trying to be a little bit more deliberative in my purchases. Though sometimes I find it very easy to pop something like this in the Amazon bin and just have it show up the next day. And that is also a good thing, because I have discovered good knives that way, like this one. I've just kind of radically cut down on that sort of behavior. And because also I got a lot of knives, and like Dave and I discussed last night, I'm way more into the collecting than the getting rid of, and I need to get rid of, and I need to sell and restore some balance to the collection. Nomadic Adventure says, no, as you saved. Okay, yeah. As you saved for what you wanted. Yes. Yeah. Took me many years to learn this lesson. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, I used to do that all the time. That used to be the mode. And then at a certain point, it's like, well, I don't have to, and I'm not saying, but as you get older, as I like to say, you accumulate more and you make more and you save more, and more is available to you. If all things are going, if you're lucky, and I'm lucky, and so I don't necessarily always have to save up. But also, this was a $400 knife. It was handmade. It took a while for this guy to make. It's not his main bread and butter, and this is a work of passion, and it's also a piece of craftsmanship, artsmanship, made by someone who trained at the same place I did. So it means a lot to me in a lot of different ways. Also, it's just a knockout, and I'm a superficial dude, and to me, it just makes my eyes feel good to look at, makes my hand feel good to grip. So you only turn 52 once, as they say. 1 Minute Knife Review says it is a lot easier to acquire than to let go. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of cases, 1 minute, it's like, well, where do I even sell this to? And it depends. Some of the knives that might end up on your impulse buy list, say a Send Cut, $40 knife or something. It's like, well, what am I going to? So I'll charge, if I want to sell this, people know how much they are. And if they want to spend $40 on the knife, they'll get a new one. They're not going to buy a used one from me. So you got to drop it at least 20%. And I argue even more than that. So what are you going to do? You're going to sell it for $25 and then ship it for $9 or $10 if you do it priority. I mean, I guess you've made some money. You have made some money, but I sometimes I wonder if you can even, what kind of money you can get for a knife that is already cheap but excellent. So, I mean, or do you package them up? Does anyone here like to buy like numerous knives at once? I see bundles, and then I always see people, well, will you just sell me the Watuga alone? The true test of a knife, does it make me giggle? Says 1 Minute Knife Review. That's a good one. Does it make you giggle? So novelty, or just any knife because it's exciting to you? Probably the latter. But since we're talking about novelty knives, I could see that being the case. So, yeah, birthday knife. Very, very happy. Very pleased. Go check out Aaron Bieber, Instagram. Very comfortable handle. Very cool shape to that handle, and nice weight relief. I think he's got 5 holes that get larger and then smaller, which looks pleasing. And it's kind of nice to know that even though I'll never see it, the blade looks good under the handle wrap, kind of just like a Japanese, samurai sword. You knock out you take the little, what is that thing called? The little thing underneath, the little piece of the little thing, and then you knock out the dowel, and then you can pull the whole blade out on a samurai sword. And then you have the handle, and then the blade, and then the little dowel that holds it all together. And on the tang of the blade, you see the maker's mark and name, and you might see how many times the blade was tested, or test results, and other things stamped into the handle. And it all looks good. Even the stuff that gets covered up looks good. And there's something pleasing about knowing that. It's like, of course, my latest analogies have been to watches, and you think about what a watch looks like on the inside. And you might have a little window into it on the back of your watch, but chances are you're never going to see all of the gears, plates, and springs and jewels of your watch at work. And it's amazing work that it does. But just knowing that it's in there and working well is enough. Just like our guts. That's, just knowing that it's all inside, and, well, right now, God willing, it's working well, All right. Novelty knife. Here's one that some might find to be a novelty knife. I do not, but I must admit, when I first became aware of the type, I thought novelty maybe a little bit. And this is a Pakal knife. And at this point, I love Pakal knives. So it's not a novelty to me now. But what do you think of tip down, edge in, reverse grip style knives like this Pakal? Some Pakal style knives are easier to use. Let me see if I have one. Dag nabbit. I don't. Are easier to use in a standard grip like this. But you look at this knife. This is the TKL Knives MR1, Marine Raider 1. It was made for a company out in California who had need for this kind of tool, and also report back that it works very well. But what it is originally is a Night Stalker from TKL Knives. It's the blank for the Night Stalker, just sharpened on the other side. So the Night Stalker is one of my most carried knives, and it's a drop point that looks just like this. And you have the sharp edge right there. Well, they flipped it, and it does make a perfect style knife. And I think part of that has to do with how awesome that grip is. Pretty fly for a knife guy. Good to see you here. He's putting up the old Malocchio. So this right there with the swedge and the tip down, and the edge reaching, or the point reaching up a little bit, so it's right in line when you're thrusting, without having to tweak your. Peace out. Are you taking off, Professor EDC? Good to have you here, man. If that's what that is. Yep. So novelty, it is a fighting knife, something that hopefully I never use for its intended purpose, but definitely a self-defense knife. But is it a novelty with the edge being there, kind of forcing this to do nothing except be a fighting knife? Even this thing here, even this Evo, I'm going to do this slowly because I'm off camera here, but even this, I was kind of fussing with it, would make, you could use this as an excellent work knife. You cut straps and rope and open boxes and do all stuff with this, a lot of stuff with this all day long, even though it's a total novelty. A Pakal style knife, depending on if it doesn't have the loop on the handle like that, it's going to be a little bit easier. But I don't know. I'm curious. Any of you think Pikal is just a trend? Is it just something of a novelty? Steve says, my sister bought me a knife subscription and the knives are okay, but I was running out of places to put 10, 20 to $30 knives. I love that story, because who doesn't want a bunch of knives always showing up? But at a certain point, especially if they're all kind of the same kind of knives, you're like, okay, all right. So I got a couple of truck knives and now I got a car knife. And let's see, I'll give one to my wife. She can keep this in the purse and then we'll put one in the diaper bag. Definitely need one there. Yeah. And then you just find, yeah. I think I'd rather get a recommendation for a nice $200 to $300 folding knife. What do you all think? Oh boy. All right. Just throw that hand grenade in the room and walk out. What do you guys think? $200 to $300. Now, that is a great, perfect price range to get so many awesome things. All right, people, start chiming in. Well, first of all, Steve, you got to let us know the kind of blade shape you're interested in. I'm assuming folding, and what kind of action, and also like gentleman style knife or something more, tactical, something like a fighting knife, something like something Rambo would carry or a military guy would carry, or something for the office, something clean and sleek that opens cool. Drop a couple more little caveats in there or guidance, and I think people will chime in for sure, because that is a great question. I'm looking over here. Oh man, yeah, there are a lot of great options, but I seem to have pulled out my $400 options here because I'm just so big like that. No, there are some great. You might be interested in checking out Tactile Knife Company, American Blade Works Model 1 or 2. How interesting. I was thinking about this one. The American Blade Works Model 1. I mean, this is the 2 with the sheep's foot. USA made Spyderco's, says Pretty Fly for a knife guy. Yes. Now, Spyderco's look weird to the uninitiated. And I'm not saying Steve is necessarily uninitiated, but they are weird and kind of ugly. They have that ET thing, ET, the Steven Spielberg critter. Is it ugly or is it cute? Cheeto Bandito says Spyderco Shaman for Steve. That's a good one. That is a good one, Cheeto. Pat D's Nuts says, get a Mannix in 15V if you can find one. Okay, so we're hearing a lot of Spyderco knives. This is a Mannix. This is definitely not 15V. This is S110V. And this is the lightweight version, but you can get different kinds with the heavier, with the stouter handles. Orion Knives, good to see you here, David. The Pikal is a long time coming with Ed Calderon having made for some time. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, he's the guy that introduced the concept to me. But I feel like a lot of people have riffed on it. Some more successfully than others. Or no, I should say some more universally useful than others. This one that I was just showing off, the MR1, is 100% weapony to me. It's not as good on the practical end, whereas like the inversion, the Pinkerton designed inversion, is very good as a utility knife as well as fighting knife. Blade Ogre says, finally got the monster tie folder designed by John Demko in a great price. Is that the River Wolf by Beyond EDC by or was it Asymmetrical? Or no, Terra Mundi. Is that it? Burnt Toast. Good to have you here, Burnt Toast. I think of The Shining when I think of Burnt Toast. A Riot Iron can be had for right around 300. A Riot Iron? I think that's a typo. It's perfect for almost. I just thought of a great one. Burnt Toast, you just made me think of a really good suggestion. This is a suggestion for Steve. This one probably going to be closer to 300 plus, maybe a little plus. I'm not sure, but it's made by Riyadh, and Riyadh, Steve, is a phenomenal. It is like kind of the cream of the crop of the Chinese OEMs and manufacturers. They make extremely fine knives for themselves under their own shingle, and then for designers and other companies. And they a company called Keneson Knives, who makes out of Texas. They make like one knife at a time. They labor over them. They are artfully beautiful. Every single one of them is its own unique thing, but they wanted a production knife, so they have one of their beautiful slender production knives, or one of their slender folding knives with Riyadh. I can't remember what it's going to be called. I will look it up. Keneson Knives. It looks so sweet, and actually, I got a chance to check it out at Blade Show. It's got a really cool flipper. It's very sleek. It's like it's a gentleman's tactical. It's a gentleman's modern folder. It is gorgeous. Tai Chung made Spyderco's. Oh yeah, 5-door. Those are awesome. The Spyderco's made in Taiwan, I like even better than the USA made ones. Professor EDC says Spyderco Shaman, Benchmade Super Freak, ZT0562, and Emerson A100. Those are, man, yeah. Okay, those are like 4 flagship models from 4 really excellent companies. Steve says utility but a good looking knife. Utility but a good looking knife. Yeah, nothing too big but clean. Yeah, I'm thinking the this Keneson, what the hell is it called? Whippet, maybe? They name everything after dogs. What is up? How's it going, Mike? We have Luck Knives with us. You just put up a really sweet one a couple of days ago. What was it, with a Tiffany handle? Got the Rip Knives Mini Fury. Ooh, I don't know that one. Rip Mini Fury. Yep, the River Wolf, says Blade Ogre. Okay. I like the name Fury. The Mini Fury. I got a couple of the knives to show you guys that I got. Byron Kennedy says, Steve, I recommend you try to find a collector or knife shop near you and figure out what you would like that fits your hand. Good luck. It just so happens, Byron, he lives right around the block from me, so he's got a great place to come check it out. But I don't have everything, so it's interesting to hear what you guys are saying. Burnt Toast says, check out the Iron by Riyadh. No typo. It's a great knife. Okay. All right, cool. Iron by Riyadh. All right, I gotta write this down. Is it so I take it, so twice you've put iron with a lowercase I, and I'm not being a smartass, but I take it that's a part of it, because you did it twice and you said no typo. And sometimes people are into lowercasing names and their first. Oh, this thing. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember this. With the really cool inlays. The inlays on these things are insane. I didn't know they still made this knife. That is gorgeous. Yeah, that's a good recommendation. Yeah, I really like the those inlays. All right. Northern Knives, good to have you here again. Northern Knives. Hello, junkies from Alaska. Well, it's good to have Alaska chiming in. Dion Page says, I carry a fixed blade for fighting, a recon one for working, and a Swiss Army knife for lending and tool. Yes, exactly. Well, it's good to have something that you can lend out. It's like when we for work, sometimes we'll do these mobile productions. We have a really sweet mobile production truck, and we'll be somewhere on location with a lot of people, and inevitably someone's like, can I have a knife? And I've learned what to bring. Here, you can have my Gerber paraframe. How does that suit you? No? Then bring your own. Patty's Nut says, how about a Kunwu Padre? Kunwu. They're interesting, man. They're coming out with some beautiful knives. What's that new Kunwu that looks kind of like the Rotten Evo? The Rotten Designs Evo? I really like that blade shape. Nomadic says, believe it or not, name a trinket. There is a fellow junkies. I'm sorry. Believe it or not, name a trinket. There are fellow junkies and makers using crazy materials to get crazy prices. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We think We think it makes all the sense in the world for pocket knives, but can you believe what these guys are paying for custom Zippos or whatever? Custom video game controllers. Jeez. Happy Haptics. It's the Fido based on their Whippet model. Okay. Yeah. What they call the Texas toothpick. Okay, Steve, look that up. The Keanison Fido. Keanison, Keanison Fido. It's made by Riot. Thank you all for your recommendations. I'm looking now. All right, man. Oh, I can't wait to see what you get. I cannot wait. But the Fido would be extra cool because then I could borrow it and make a video on it. 1 Minute Knife Review says, I have this Tiffany blue squall. Oh, you have his Tiffany blue squall. That is awesome. A 1 Minute Knife Reviews. Very nice. It has the Luck Knives squall. That's a beautiful, we were talking about Warncliffs. That is a beautiful Warncliffe. Oh, and there is the Keanison Whippet. This is the custom Whippet. And this is the knife that the production model is based on. The handle looks almost the same. The blade looks almost the same. Actually, I like the production blade better. It resembles it's a Spanish shaped blade. It has a Spanish vibe to it. And I mentioned that when I was talking to the guy who designed it, and he confirmed, yes, it is based on Spanish design. Damn it, what's his name? It'll come to me in a second. I hate that. A lot of names I have bouncing around in my mind of people that I've interviewed, and god damn it, why can't I think of I'll think of it in a second. I've lusted. This is Happy Haptics saying, I've lusted over the Whippet for many years now. Might scoop a Fido or wait for the real thing once their books open back up. Dude, Happy Haptics. I don't know if you listened to the interview with. Oh, it'll come to me. God damn. Excuse my French, but man. But anyway, you'll be waiting a long time because they take a long time, making their knives. They're very meticulous and I don't want to say plodding. I definitely don't mean that, but they can take a while to make a knife, relatively speaking. So who knows? I would scoop up a Fido while you can. Hold on to that, and then if their books ever do open up and you can get a Whippet or you see one on the secondary market that you like, yeah, right, you can sell that Fido, and I'm sure you'll be able to make your money back because it'll be a Riot, and it's a Riot, and it'll probably be a very limited run. Anyway, cool knife. I want to see someone get the Fido. If it were in my size wheelhouse, I'd be distraught because I'd feel like it was a moral imperative. But luckily, my size restrictions keep some temptations at bay. Yeah, good knife. All right, let me show you a couple of other knives here. I got something really cool from Cold Steel. Actually, it came from Cold Steel, but it's really a gift from Jimi Slash. Josh Belay, Jimi Slash on YouTube. Tactile Maverick is another good one. Clean option. Yeah, and great design pedigree, designed by Richard Rogers and made in Texas, 100% made in Texas with 100% American materials. I think everything comes from Texas except the stop pins, and they make everything. Oh, Miguel Barbudo. Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, he's a grail maker. All right, so this arrived. This was a gift from Jimi Slash. He designed a competition chopper for Cold Steel and got 2 of them that he could give to anyone, and he had one sent to me. So I thought that was really, really an awesome gesture. This is nice leather sheath, kind of the same sort of slick leather like you used to get on the Laredo sheath, but nice suede on the other side, so your blade's not going to get all scratched up. But here it is. Look at this 3V beast. It is beautiful. You got Jimi Slash on here. Jimi Slash is not his real name. That is his stage name. Let's see. Let's see what it says here. It says competition chopper. and it's number 11. Got a swedge up here to keep things a little bit light, but I mean, at this rate, I don't know how much weight reduction you actually get there. And then I'm trying to show you the wedge-like geometry. There we go. Kind of like a wedge, but it comes to an apple seed edge. It comes to a convex, rounded edge. It is so brutally sharp. I before we started rolling here tonight, I had a paper towel roll that I put on the edge of the table, and that's how I dispatch them. I chop them with knives. This one required nothing. I just basically let it drop at an angle, and it sheared right through twice with just the weight of the knife. Now, it is a heavy knife, and it's I think that's 5/16 of an inch thick. So it's a chunker, but it's meant for competition chopping. So race chopping through 2x4s and whatever 4x4s or whatever they do there, and the different tennis ball things and the coconuts and all the stuff they chop. It's been a while since I've seen one of those, but they do a lot of really cool things. Big giant ropes that they chop, free hanging ropes, and cutting golf balls in half and all that stuff. Whatever they're doing, this is going to do a great job. I love the handle. It feels great. It's the same grivery that you're used to from Cold Steel, with some of the same hallmarks of, say, an SRK, with the lines on the back and the checkering here, and then the bird's beak. You got the bird's beak there, that rounded edge. This thing is just incredible. So this coming weekend, I have disassembled an old table / desk that I made. It was a double desk I made for my wife and I for our New York apartment, 8 feet long. And so I took the tabletop off. That is going to be our new knife throwing target until it disintegrates like the old one. This is what happened to my old table too, the one that used to be right here. That was a countertop in Philadelphia 30 years ago, became a throwing target. And so with this competition chopper, I'll be chopping up the legs and all the other stuff from the rest of the table just to check it out, see how it works. And then I'm going to burn it all. Matthew Russell, good to have you here, Matthew. I just ordered my first Thai Spyderco with the Watu, and I look forward to comparing it to the American-made Spydercos I have now. I think you mean Taiwan. Yeah. Dude, you will notice. I don't know if you'll notice a difference. I mean, there is a difference, but something about those Taiwanese-made Spydercos. Like, I'm thinking right now of the Sleesh productions, especially the Spidey Chef in my case, and some of the the Uliza and some of the other ones, just beautifully made. Luck Knives says the Tiffany blue squall I made will be given away on Instagram or at Blade Show West. Haven't really decided yet. That's cool. I wasn't really happy with it enough to sell it. Still a functional piece, though. Huh. Just saying, I know a guy who'd love to review that knife and send it back to you just to get the word out. I could get you his number. Mark Salva says Amazon won't ship me most one-handed opening knives. What? Wait, Mark, Mark, are you in Canada? Is that why? Because I know that people who ship to Canada, you jump through some hoops. Dion Page says, King Junkie, did you check out Wyatt Haynes yet? His Gladius and Bowies in particular. One I like, the Prather War Bowie, is killer. You know what? I have not. But I'll show you something in a second. Wyatt Haynes. If I put a box next to it, it gets done. Wyatt Haynes. It'll get done. Keennison open book spots with down payment for all of their custom models a few months back. I unfortunately missed it, but they'll do it again soon enough. Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow. Down payment, huh? Well, I guess that makes sense. because of the materials they use. 1 Minute Knife Review says, I love the one I got from you. Not a paid endorsement, but it's the Teravantium one. So yeah, Teravantium. Love it. Byron Kennedy says, what an awesome gift from Jimmy Slash. This is one hand Predator Hunter in the other hand. Done. Exactly. I'll have this in one hand and the Predator Hunter in the other. This to me, I'm not sure if Dave is still with us tonight, but this to me is like a Golok. This is like a, these competition choppers to me, they just look like modern day Filipino Goloks. These just big war slabs, just these big slabs of sharpened steel used to just cleave things. Like they don't even put a point on them. They're just for just disassembling things. Fernando says, if it makes you happy, buy what you want, not what you need. Yes. I think, Fernando, this is coming from a well-adjusted point of view, though. I don't know you from a hill of beans, but I have a feeling it's coming from a well-adjusted spot. Like, get it because it makes you happy. But some people can't be happy without getting stuff. And sometimes I feel like that. Like I was talking with Dave last night, and he was like, we were talking about the reasons people collect, and he had his theory, and I won't say what that is. But my theory was, I wish that were the case for me, but for me, it's like, I want this, and I want that, and I want that, and I want that. So it's a materialistic kind of almost a hoarding thing. Well, once you have it and don't sell it. So best to just, James Reese is among us. Best to just, I'm sorry, I just got distracted. We've got a very famous, no, I'm just kidding, James. James Reese, if that is your real name. Bob, have you seen the White Mountain Knives exclusive CJRB large feldspar? 3.82. This is the one with the fat carbon. No, okay, I have not seen this one. I just recently saw the titanium frame lock one, but this sounds awesome, James. I like the feldspar. It's such a nice, and just talk about a clean shape. That's a really nice one with the flipper tab and thumb studs. Not sure how I feel about the flipper tab on that knife in particular. I can only think of that with the thumb studs. So Luck Knife says, need to start throwing my knives again. The blanks that I mess up become throwing knives. They work surprisingly well. That's awesome. Yeah. That's what you do. Instead of throwing them in the box, never using them again, start throwing them. All right, so I'm going to put this away. I'll show you the last knife I got this week. This was a good week because I got a number of loaners. That's always a nice way to be exposed to things without the obligation. No strings attached, baby. Just a couple of nights with somebody else's knife, and hey, live life. All right, so this last one here, Sentinel Strike from Civivi. This thing is pretty awesome. I was sort of on the fence about it. Wasn't crazy about the looks of the integral FRN backspacer here. Doesn't bother me at all having it. What I really wanted was that blade. Almost 4 inches with the choil. Beautiful Wharncliffe blade. I love the shape of this blade. And then you've got the wee Civivi Sencut button lock. This button lock, I was talking about the Sencut. Sencut is the lower end version brand of this knife. Has always been just a little sticky, and that's not a reflection on Sencut. I think they're awesome. I think they're doing great stuff, but this button lock has always been just a little janky by comparison. Not in any way loose or anything like that. It's a little sticky, and that button, you got to push it all the way in with the tip of your finger. But anyway, this is the Sentinel Strike. So that's aluminum. It's an aluminum handle with a fiberglass reinforced nylon integral back strap there. Really nice action, which is smoothing out. When you get a knife with the black or any coating on the blade, it's not going to be as smooth. until it wears a race into the coating with those ball bearings. And that is starting to happen. This has been my ESK for a number of days since I got it. And so it has been getting a lot of extracurricular flips. Yeah, so the Sentinel Strike, this is a great, I dig this knife a whole bunch. I love it. I love it. And I highly recommend it. It was $80, but definitely worth it. I say but because I still think in my mind, that's where I always think. But I'm still thinking, I'm used to Civivi being less expensive than that. But that's not Civivi. That's Sencut now. So Civivi has the hovering near $100 knives at this point. Knife swingers. Oh, yeah. Knives. Yeah, exactly. One knife stand, baby. Yeah, just send that Sentinel Strike over here. Just give me a couple of hours with that Sentinel Strike. Just give me 3 to 5 minutes with that Sentinel Strike, and I'm all good. James Reese says that large feldspar is only $135 after 10% off. That sounds good, man. That sounds good, especially with the fat carbon. That stuff is expensive and really nice on the eyes. Kind to the face orbs. Really like them. All right, guys, I think I'm about to wrap here. Wait, what did you have up there? What did you have up there, Jim? I was going to read it. I think it said something like support Thursday Night Knives by going to Patreon. You could do that. Or get your next knife. Yes, at thenifejunkie.com/knives and support Thursday Night Knives and the Knife Junkie channel. Yes. And when you watch the midweek supplemental, you see those great liners that Jim makes new every week from Knives Ship Free, and they feature all their new knives. And it's like it's always during a break between segments, and I'm sitting here sipping my coffee, preparing for the next segment, and then I get lost watching that liner. Like, oh my God, I want every knife there. So if you are in the market, do that. Go to thenifejunkie.com/knives, buy a knife that way, and or you can go to one of our affiliates, Vosteed or thenifejunkie.com/offgrid, any one of those, and buy a knife that way. Night Bob, night Jim, thanks, says 1 Minute Knife Review. 1 Minute Knife Review, thank you, sir. Great having you here. Thanks for joining the conversation. Night, y'all, he says. 5-Door, great show, Bob and Jim. Thanks. Well, 5-Door, I thank you, sir, and I thank you for this really, really awesome loaner. James Reese, I'll see you, man. Thanks very much for coming. Blade Ogre, always a pleasure. Thanks again, Bob and Jim. Night all. Have a great weekend. I shall. It is beginning as we speak. LL Coil J, good to have you. So many nice knives, but I stick to made in USA. I need a button lock knife. Well, there are plenty of well, maybe not plenty, but ProTech makes them. Freeman Knives makes them, and they're all American. Pretty Fly for a knife guy, says Night Junkies. Good night, Pretty Fly. Good to have you here, man. Pat D's Nuts for the next week. What should I get myself for my 51st birthday in January? Good night, Bob and Jim. For next week, what should I get? Okay. Pat D's Nuts. I'm gonna point you in the direction of a custom fixed blade, but something reasonable and super cool, and we'll figure out what that is. 51. That's great. I thought you were a little bit older, but it seems you're a babe in arms. Byron Kennedy says, thanks, Bob, Jim, and good night, junkies. Good night, Byron. Dion, outstanding show. Good night, Knives. Oh, listen to that. It's midnight. Have a great weekend. 1 minute. The Mordax is nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. And that's one of those knives that you have to say, Mordax. All right. I'm sure Jim's tired of hearing that and everything else. So let's get on out of here. All right. I'm Bob DeMarco saying, please join us again next week. Check us out on Sunday for that great conversation with Dave, This Old Sword Blade reviews, and the midweek supplemental on Wednesday. For Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.